Subscribers, listeners, fans, and followers, what's going on? It's me, Jeremy. This is our boy...
Our boy Brian.
Our boy Brian in the building. And we got a discussion today that you guys are going to absolutely love. Last week's episode was about the Bitcoin. What is a Bitcoin? That's what we were discussing. And we brought up the term blockchain, and a lot of you were asking about what is the blockchain? What is a blockchain? There's a lot of different questions. It's like blockchain related. So that's what we're doing today. What is a blockchain? So I have no idea. I do. What is a blockchain, Brian?
The blockchain technology. I think where we're at right now with blockchain technology is, I think I mentioned this last podcast too, is like where the internet was in 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And I mentioned industrial revolutions, and we are in the fourth one right now, and that's what blockchain is. We really haven't seen this type of revolutionary change in technology and human behavior and societal differences, whatever it is, until the internet. The internet was so disruptive.
Changed everything.
I mean, changed everything.
Yeah.
And so what blockchain technology is doing the same exact thing that the internet did, but on a different level now. So it's like a layer on top.
Now, the hard part is I still have a hard time even figuring out and totally understanding what the internet is.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the blockchain is not going to be much easier.
There's internets, and then there's the internet, the World Wide Web.
Wait, there's a difference between the World Wide Web and the internet?
No, that's all. There's a difference between intranet and internet.
Yes.
And there's different layers of blockchains that are kind of mimic that. But what the internet did, it allowed for transfer of information.
Yep.
So like if you and I are transferring emails, or even if you're just gonna upload a shitload of content on this one website,
right,
you can go there and obtain that information.
Right.
So it was just a way for everyone to share information.
So as far as we're talking internet and blockchain, are they the same thing, or I guess what is a blockchain then?
Right. So I think the biggest difference between the internet and the blockchain technology, like I just said, the internet allows for a transfer of information.
Right.
What the blockchain does is allows for a transfer of value, and this is peer to peer. So like when I say peer to peer transfer of information, like if I wanted to learn about trading, and the internet wasn't around, where am I going to go? I'm either going to have to find someone. Think about what it did. It connected us all. It allowed for us to share and learn. So if I wanted to day trade back when the internet wasn't even around, or it cost thousands of dollars to get on it,
right,
or to have the equipment to get on it,
yeah,
I would go to the library or find a stockbroker locally and try to learn from him. But like I couldn't email you or call you or so it allowed peer-to-peer transfer of information. The blockchain is allowing a peer-to-peer transfer of value. So going back to the analogy that I was using with I want to learn about day trading, I would go to a library, right? Or I would go to a trading force somewhere here locally. So I have to go to a centralized third-party spot to obtain the information I want.
Okay.
What the internet did for us is allowed for all that information to go online. So like Wikipedia, all these different blogs and all these different websites. So I can go on to your website. So you make a website, you put all your information on it, and I can go in and learn about it now. And I don't have to worry about the physical location of where I need to go and what I need to do. So that was taking all that information away from the localized type of entities and putting it all together where everyone can access that information. And the access and so the access to information has allowed for exponential, I think, technological advances and, for that matter, human consciousness. We know one person knows more about what's going on in the world now than they did 20 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's huge. I can see that gap with my parents. Like my mom and dad don't know. I mean, they know a lot of stuff, but it took them a while to learn what the internet was and how to log on. And I remember going on to AOL and then what's this now? Like, remember when we were like instant messaging and stuff?
Oh, AOL instant messenger
and away messages and everything. And now we're doing text messages from our phone. Yeah. I mean, that is a big leapfrog.
Do you remember your AOL messenger name?
Yeah, it was Bry Guy 2488. What was yours?
Bry guy.
Bry guy.
Mine was Pontiac van.
Pontiac van. Oh my God.
Because I drove a Pontiac. Like that was my dad. The first car was a Pontiac van.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, my dad gave me. That was I was like what?
Pontiac van.
Yeah, 10, 11.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I was so you're talking about exchange of information. So we're assuming the blockchain then is a giant component of computers linked as a network.
Yes.
So what is its function? I mean, other than the peer to peer, like how does it actually process information?
Sure.
Is it binary?
No, what the blockchain does is so before I take that step forward into what it actually is, where do you hold all of your emails? Where do you hold all of your money? Where do you hold your car title? Where do you hold your voting registration, your medical records? Do you actually own any of those? I mean, technically you should. But
good question.
Do you have those in your? Can you show me right now?
Yeah.
Where your car's registered, what your VIN number is, and everything from your personal computer or phone or whatever.
Okay, so you're asking me about where do I keep all my stuff? That's a good question. I mean, most people keep them in a safety deposit box. When you ask me personally, I got a box that she made me, my girlfriend behind the camera. She made me a box that has my name on it. And
It's cute.
It's a black shoe box. It's very cute, and that's where I put all my important stuff.
Is it like bedazzled as well?
It's not.
And say Pontiac van on top.
No, but that would have been funny. And so the thing is, I'll leave all my important stuff around the house. I had like a title to my car the other day. And she's like,
Sure.
You should probably put this in your box.
Okay.
So anyway, that's where it is. I have some safe deposit box in a bank, and then just like file cabinets.
What about USD? Like, where do you keep your actual
U.S.
money?
dollars. So I keep a lot of my money in a brokerage account, like a trading account.
Okay.
Some in a bank. I got some laying around the house. I got some in a safe.
What about your health records?
Oh, jeez.
Probably at your doctor's office, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. And you register your car with the city or county.
Right.
Right? Or the state. It's the
Yep.
state. So there's a reliance on, and your emails. Like, you don't own your emails on your own server unless you're Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
A little shot there.
I do not.
But
have it.
I mean, if you can rent server space and you can
Sure,
own server
I could
space.
if I wanted to.
But the normal person that's listening to this episode,
Gmail,
this is Gmail, Yahoo, whatever it is.
hopefully no one has.
There's a trusted third party where all their digital assets are kept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what the blockchain does is allows for peer-to-peer transfer of value. So if I want to what it's doing is eliminating the third party. So that means I'm not relying on my email provider, so that's Gmail, whatever.
Sure.
I'm not relying on their servers, their software, and everything to send you an email that I want to send you. So it would go from me to Gmail to you, right? That's how the flow. You want to send me money, you wire it to me, it goes from you to the bank to me.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Got it.
I want to transfer my car, I want to sell my car to you. Car title goes from me to the DMV to you, right? So there's all these just silos of all this data and all these different, and healthcare records. I mean, let's say you're on a trip in Alaska or something and you're dog sledding, right? Sounds fun.
I'm dog sledding Alaska. Got it. Okay.
And you fall off your sled and you break your leg and you go to the local hospital and they're like, hey, who's your primary care doctor? But let's say you're knocked unconscious because you see the bone and you're like, oh my gosh, you're unresponsive.
Right.
How are those people going to know who you are? How are they going to get your medical records so they know what blood type you are? I mean, they can't.
Do you even have a primary doctor?
No, I don't.
I don't either. I get asked that question often. I'm like, I don't go to the doctor.
Right. I'm just healthy.
Have you seen these guns?
Right. You're looking good.
How do you go to the doctor?
I drink a lot of kombucha.
That's the thing. But that's a very good question. So, I mean, I'm assuming if I'm in that Alaskan hospital, they are contacting. I don't even know who they contact. I have no idea. I truly don't know who.
Right. They're not going to know who you are, and they have to wait for you to become responsive so they can ask you questions.
Really? It's not like on a private, like my insurance doesn't have a copy of that.
How are they going to know who your insurance is? You're unresponsive. You're by yourself. Your dog's sledding.
There's not like a database they type in my social and they just know.
Not that I'm aware of. Where are your medical records? It's with your doctor. So what I'm saying is that there's all these efforts, and here, especially here in Nashville, with the healthcare industry, It's called Hashed Health, and that company just helps. I mean, these guys are doing revolutionary type things. They're putting actual blockchain technology to use inside the healthcare sector.
That's huge.
But then that's just one sector.
Yeah.
Healthcare
is massive, but it's just
think about real estate.
Real estate, banking, financial.
Banking obviously is insane, and that's where all of this became disruptive.
Right.
But what blockchain's doing is allowing for a peer-to-peer transfer of value. So let's say there's a United States blockchain that all healthcare providers are on, and they can access certain information for certain people if you give them authority. So maybe it's a thumbprint. So you're still unconscious, but they can scan your thumbprint through a simple app on your phone, right? And then now they have access to your medical records because it's all done through the blockchain.
Yeah.
So it can get complicated, and there's so many things that need to be figured out. We're in the infancy. I can't say that. What's the word?
Infancy.
Infancy.
Yeah.
Like infancy, late infancy, early childhood stage of this technology.
We're 7.
So again, like we're sitting here on these couches, and like just like in Good Morning America, and they're talking about what's the @ sign?
Yeah.
This? What's an email? Like we're probably going to be sounding similar to them. In 5 to 10 years from now, when people really know what blockchain is, what it's capable of, and how it works.
You've mentioned that before. Let's get that queued up, 'cause I think our listeners need to watch that video.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Back now at 56 past, I wasn't prepared to translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little
right.
mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around
I'd never heard it said. I'd always
That's
seen the
right.
mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard around
big
or
fight up
about.
in the lunchroom the other
See,
week.
there it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com. I mean,
Well, Allison should know.
what
do you
is
say to that,
internet
Allison?
anyway?
Internet is that
Massive computer network.
the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Oh, Allison will be in the studio shortly.
What is
What
it?
does it mean?
It's a giant computer network made up of started from.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like
You've
a
been looking in the
computer
dictionary.
billboard.
It's not in it. It's a computer billboard, but it's
Right.
nationwide, and it's several universities and everything all joined together. And
Right.
And others can access it.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It
Just
came
great.
in really handy during the quake. A lot of people, that's how they were communicating out to tell family and loved ones they were okay because all the phone lines were down.
I was telling Katie, and I've
But
been
you don't
talking.
need a phone line to operate internet?
No.
It's a great clip. It's funny because it's like Good Morning America. And again, you mentioned it a few times, and they're like, "What's an email?" But no one knows. Right? Who knows
Right.
what that is? It's a very, very good blast from the past. So with the blockchain, then my biggest question at this present point: who created it? Because we know Benjamin Franklin created the internet. So who made? It's a joke. Who made? Was it Satoshi Nakamoto?
So
Did he make the blockchain?
the blockchain is are you familiar with algorithms and protocols, and do you know what those, can you define those two words? Do you know what those are?
Not into this space.
Okay,
no.
so like a protocol is simply if X happens, you go here. If Y happens, you go here.
Okay.
And based on outcomes, certain things happen.
Okay.
And what the blockchain is a protocol that says, well, for Bitcoin, for instance, says if this person or this address, this wallet, which I think we kind of covered, but we're going to talk more about wallets next, because wallets are important in all facets of blockchain. It's like your how you hold and transfer everything.
Okay.
But if where was I at? What was I saying?
You were talking about algorithms and protocols.
So if there's an input that says on the blockchain Bitcoin that this address wants to send 0.5 Bitcoin to this address, which is mine, what that protocol does is says, okay, now we have to go through the blockchain because, and this is the best part of the blockchain in my opinion, it goes through the blockchain and it validates that you have 0.5 BTC to send to me, and once it validates that, it executes on that transfer. But that's all done on the blockchain. It's not a third party. And the reason why they call it a blockchain, okay, now this is the coolest part. The blockchain protocol went into your address and saw, okay, you have 0.5 BTC. And then I'm not going to say I because it's not like an AI, it's not a computer, but it's a protocol. The protocol says, okay, if Jeremy has 0.5 BTC in his account, now I have to trace it back to see where that 0.5 BTC came from. And what it does is track everything. So it's actually a ledger of every transaction that happens peer-to-peer. Not just on Bitcoin, but all these different other systems. And before I move down the private chain and permission chain and public chain conversation, all these transactions are validated. So that transaction I just talked about gets put into the block, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of transactions in a block. Once that block is finished, meaning once all the transactions in that block are validated, it gets added to the chain. And more blocks get added to the chain, so there's this long list. It's called a distributed ledger. Okay? And so what that distributed ledger allows for is no third party. That's where the third party is eliminated, because if you're doing banking transactions, who's going to keep track of those wire transfers? Western Union is executing on the wire transfer, but your bank account that's coming off of is keeping track of the books, right? So what the Bitcoin blockchain did is allow for a distributed global ledger. And when I first got involved with Bitcoin, you actually had to download the full Bitcoin blockchain. So you download it on your computer, and you can see every transaction that ever happened in Bitcoin. You can still do it today. There's websites that you can go to, and you can go look at every transaction.
So who made that?
So
do we know?
It really wasn't. It really wasn't made. It was. So Satoshi Nakamoto put out a white paper. And it's only 8 pages long. It's a very easy read. It can get kind of technical at certain points, but if you just kind of keep reading through it, you'll kind of understand what the point of it is.
Do we have a link? Do we have a link to that, you think?
Oh yeah.
All right.
You just go to bitcoin.org or bitcoin.com.
We're gonna link to that
and read Satoshi's white paper.
Description box.
But there was 7 other guys who Jeff Garzik, and I think I mentioned him last one.
Yeah.
Who else was on that? I'm drawing a blank on the developers, but the Bitcoin documentary on Netflix now.
The one we were talking about last week.
Yes, that totally shows how a group of developers came together on this certain mission. It's like, wow, this white paper. And a white paper is very simply an abstract. It presents a problem and a solution. And the problem was a peer-to-peer transfer of value. Satoshi provided the solution, and so these 7 guys got together and started working on it. Now, Satoshi never really sent a picture of himself or met anyone. I mean, it could be someone else, but never met anyone, and it was like this pseudonym.
Yeah, it's a pseudonym.
I mean, actively online, actively in chat rooms and in community boards and doing things, but it was essentially, an anonymous pen name. So people still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but people have some good ideas of as to who it may be. So
now, would you say that so more or less, without the blockchain, there would be no Bitcoin?
Correct.
Bitcoin would be irrelevant.
Right. So without the blockchain, Bitcoin couldn't work.
Interesting.
So and when I first got involved, I could have sworn it was called Bitcoin Core was the name of the blockchain, Bitcoin Core, and then Bitcoin with a lowercase b was the currency that was running on top.
Right.
But it's since evolved in this beautiful thing over here where, okay, well, let's not call it Bitcoin. We're going to confuse people.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin with a capital B is the core protocol, and then Bitcoin with the lowercase b is the currency that we're trading. Now the currency is just called Bitcoin, but that Bitcoin Core is now the blockchain. And people, and so Vitalik Buterin, it's like,
great name.
Oh my gosh.
Vitalik.
This kid is sheer genius.
Yeah, so smart.
He, I think he grew up in Toronto, but today or this week out in California is disrupted by TechCrunch, and I just saw him speak yesterday at Disrupted, but he was talking about why he built the Ethereum blockchain. And he said that there was updates going on in...
so ready for that. Talk about Ethereum.
Yeah, there is updates going on in his World of Warcraft or one of his games. And it was an update that he didn't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
And it was forced upon his character, so he got upset. And he's like, well, everyone should own the rights to their own assets, even if it's an online character. So create the FAT protocol is what we call it now, called Ethereum. And Ethereum blockchain, oh man, that's an awesome chain. Yeah.
Gosh, good old FAT protocol.
Right. And so you can invest in that.
Yeah.
Well,
hold on that topic though. On that topic, you mentioned the word investing, and now you got me all excited.
Right.
That's my wheelhouse.
Right.
And so again, just to remind you guys, I'm sure you already picked up on this, but he's the blockchain cryptocurrency guru, and I'm the stock market equity day trading guru. So I know a lot about. Guru is a bad word. Whatever. We're smart. We know things, and so that's kind of why I'm here asking about this world. And at some point, he's gonna be over here asking about my world. So we're gonna be transferring data this way, viscerally through our minds. But you mentioned about investing. So how does someone just go about investing in a blockchain? Now, I'm not going to say necessarily, let's say we're talking about trading yet. We're going to get into that world later. But let's say my mom, 60-something years old, wants to invest in a blockchain technology, or a business owner, let's call him Trey, and he has a logistics company, wants to build his logistics company on the blockchain. How do people invest in a blockchain?
Sure. Good question. And I really want everyone to know that speculation and speculating on these tokens or coins that are being created from all these different blockchains is... I don't even do it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I think it's a very sophisticated type of investment that you need to do. You have to be a day trader. You have to be able to see trend lines and all that other... I mean, I don't know how to do that. The only way I'm investing in a coin or a token that's associated with a certain chain or blockchain is because I either know the guys who are building those projects and I know that they have something of significant value that's going to be worth something someday. But there's and I'm trying to not use profanity here because it upsets me. But there's guys who create a blockchain and say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and it's one or two guys, and they raise $210 million or $150 million in the matter of hours, and guess what they're doing? Those dumbass investors, now we can go do whatever we want.
Sure.
And they're buying custom tailored suits and Ferraris and living around the world, and they're not executing and they're not working on the project that they promised these people.
They're not actually making anything.
And the blockchain's sitting there dead. Yeah. But you know what? Those people, those initial investors, don't know that that's what's going on. They think something's being built. So again, I preached it. I'm always going to preach. Do your due diligence. Vet the company. Know what's behind it. Know what's going on. I don't think that speculating and getting into an ICO, which we're going to talk about in future podcasts, but don't get involved in those things if you don't know what's going on. And you know, there's the component that I think we'll talk about next week is the wallet aspect.
Okay.
But you have to make sure you have the right wallets. You're backing up your public and private keys. Where are you sending certain coins? Some blockchain companies do an ICO because they're trying to raise funds to develop a project, and so they accept Bitcoin and Ethereum as an investment. In return, you get part of their coins called an ICO, initial coin offering. But for your mom to invest in Trey's supply or his logistics company that's being built on the blockchain, she needs to talk to Trey. And one is your mother an accredited investor? I mean, that's another thing. Because if you're not an accredited investor, you're not going to have active access, or you're not going to have immediate access to an investment. And for those people building a blockchain...
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, there's two different ways of funding things. You can do a venture capital route, angel investments, all the things. And then there's this ICO thing, and this is very toxic. It's about to become dead. Again, we'll talk about it, but I really want to focus on the blockchain aspect. And as far as investing in a project, we'll cover more of that next week or the weeks to come. But I do want to talk about permission chains, private chains, and public chains. Ethereum, Bitcoin, there's a plethora of different public chains, which is all open protocol, which means when I say open protocol, people can go in, look at the protocol, and there's no secrets, right? So there's no companies, and there's a lot of foundations behind these different blockchains, and it's just a group of core developers that are making decisions like, hey, should we hard fork or should we? And a hard fork is essentially we're going down this blockchain and we're not liking the way the transaction speed is happening. We don't like the storage or the amount of capacity in each block, or there's something inside that protocol that they don't like, so they hard fork. And that means kind of like in a railroad system, you're going down one track and you really don't want to go to that destination, you want to go over here. Yeah. You just go off on a different track or a different blockchain. Right. It's called hard forking. And sometimes there's winners and sometimes there's losers. If you ever studied fractal mathematics, and again, I'm probably going to nerd out here.
Go for it.
Like a lightning strike, there's one spot where it creates from, but then it can fractalize all out. Yeah. Almost like if you're looking at a map and you look down on a river going out to the ocean, there's all these different banks and everything. There's one core beginning. There's a river head or there's the start of a lightning strike, and it fractalizes. Okay, and that's what happened. That's what's happening in the Bitcoin space. Bitcoin started this revolution off, and then Ethereum, which is its own blockchain, came about.
Right,
and it's very hard, and the processing power behind Bitcoin is somewhat slow, and it's meant to really drive a currency or for the currency to run on top of it. Ethereum is so cool because it was like, when I say fat protocol, I mean it's a big protocol that you can build on, and there's a lot of people building blockchain projects on Ethereum. So that's why Ethereum goes up in price, and that's why it's number 2 is because
interesting.
Vitalik created this thing.
So it's a totally different blockchain.
And he was like 16 years old.
So it's still a blockchain technology,
yes,
but it's just a different blockchain.
Correct.
Now, you said that one's public. What's the private ones?
Right, so a private blockchain will be used inside a corporation or a Fortune 500, which is happening these days. Even big banks.
That's the industries I want to get in on right there, that one. So how do private companies go about? Do they just hire a Bitcoin developer?
Yeah, good question.
Or not Bitcoin, blockchain developer?
Yeah, so there's different. There's actually quite a few blockchain firms.
Really?
Blythe Matthews, who created the CDC.
Mm-hmm. The CDC?
Not the CD. The CDOs.
Okay.
What crashed the housing market? CDOs.
CDOs helped.
The CDOs?
Yeah.
Who created that investment vehicle? She's leading I can't believe this. She's leading a blockchain firm to help banks institute or implement the blockchain technology.
Oh, yeah. Bring it.
I know. It's just...
That's going to be fun.
But there's Block, BLOQ, is a blockchain consulting firm. And what they can do is go into these Fortune 500 companies or just regular standard companies that want to implement blockchain technology. And, some companies are like, hey, we want to do blockchain technology. It's a new thing, but they don't even know what it is or why they need it. So I think the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, do I need a blockchain?
Okay.
Which allows for peer-to-peer transfer of value, and all of that is distributed. And a private chain means that chain inside, let's call it Brian and Jeremy's furniture company.
Sure.
And we implement, we're ordering, we'll stay with your supply chain. So we're ordering furniture from China coming over here, and we want to track all that data. Well, we're not going to build a blockchain or hard fork or fork a chain that that public has access to it, because they don't need to know where our shipment is. Mm-hmm. That's all internal.
No, that makes sense.
You create a private almost wall around that chain, so only internals can operate in it. But
you mentioned there was 2. There are 3.
Permission chain.
So what's a permission chain?
So a permission chain is if we're running this furniture company, there's a supply chain, and one of our suppliers needs to know where a shipment is. it's technically they're not a part of our company. Now they may be a partner,
Right.
but we can give them permission to a certain chain so they can see where certain things are.
Interesting. Man, there's so many more things we can talk about. So our next podcast, we're talking about wallets, securities.
Wallets, how to secure your Bitcoin and other assets.
Okay, which me and you are going to differ on opinion on that. So it's going to get a little heated.
That's fine.
But that's fine. Yeah, you're used to competition.
Yeah, I'm always and I heard today. I heard today from someone they like losing better than they do winning. Now I love winning, but I appreciate losing. That's not like I like losing more
I
than
hate
I do
losing.
winning.
I hate losing.
But I appreciate losing because
Right.
it makes the wins better, and I learn more from a loss
Yeah.
than I do a win.
Well, we're gonna talk about wallets, securities, how to protect yourself, and just chatting more. Again, these topics are coming from you guys. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. You could message us. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We do the whole social media thing, but everyone
it's
does.
the Twitter handle, and I think
At BTC Day Traders.
At BTC Day Traders. Same thing with Facebook. We're working on some content so you guys can, if you guys want to start trading Bitcoin, you can do that. That's where he's going to
Bringing it.
really do more. This is
Bringing
more of an informative, fun, light
Yeah.
conversation, but he's going to be delivering that content.
I'm excited.
And yeah.
All right, we're going to see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you get us your questions if you need anything. We're going to be coming back next week. What would be a good title? What are wallets?
I would say wallets and securing your digital assets.
Whew. Write that down. That's a good title.
Pontiac van. That should be your sign off.
We're out.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.